on Wednesday, July 27th from 2 to 5:30. Taylor's Farm is doing a blood drive, and I think the men might be speaking to that a little bit later. But I wanted to point that out just in case you happen to miss that. And it's going to be on site.
Yeah, let's talk about that now. So that's gonna be at Taylor.
Taylor Farm site.
Taylor
So,
Farms
yeah.
at 2 o'clock,
It starts at 2 o'clock to 5:30.
and so they want to cover both shifts, so there's Chief Cash, I emailed, I forwarded to you, so they want the city to be involved, of course, so. Yeah, thank you.
And third and lastly, just when you go to the city website on the left-hand side, you'll be able to click on an icon that allows for people with disability to access the website and gain as much access as anybody that can, that have, don't have these disabilities, and people with blindness, color blindness, epilepsy, cognitive disabilities. And so we really are kind of required to have that program on our system. It's about $500 a year, but I think it's well worth it, and it also is kind of a legal requirement. And I think they'll probably be happy that we got that up and running. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions? Has there been any emails or information on that topic or any other topic?
No, not that it, not, no.
Anybody can say anything? For anything with social media? No?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Item number 9, Director of Public Safety Report, information only.
Mr. Mayor, council, staff, and citizens, public safety, nothing to report from the city.
Can I ask you a question about, I know that we've been tagged quite a bit. It's pretty devastating to a new park, an old park, a park, Paco Park, quite a few parks, Leroy Park, O'Connell Park, and it's pretty aggressive. So we need, I don't know, we need cameras, we need drones, we need the community to get involved to let us know what's going on and who's the perpetrator of these things. Even a week, not even a week after the ribbon cutting, it was Leroy Park was hit, and it's been hit continually. And most of our staff is out there trying to clean up after that. So, although I noticed that the murals haven't been tagged, which is, I don't think they tagged. Did they tag Paco Park? No. Maybe we need a mural all the way through.
Everything?
And everything. So,
That was the intention.
yeah,
You were
exactly.
gonna do a report.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sure you're working on it. You got a lot of police reports and a lot of staff working on it, so. Any questions for the chief? On item 10 is the mayor's report. I just wanted to point out, all the information is pretty specific in terms of what's going on. But I wanted to see item 4 was the issue with the old, not the issue, but the old Isles Union. And I think we need to, I don't know if that's agendized in the future, but we need to look at getting that out and mapping that up so that we can get that out to the public. It'd be nice to have something there other than a blank. So I don't know how long that's been, maybe 30 years now. 30, probably more than that. Anyway,
It's released to sell now.
it's released to sell, so we need to get our ducks in order. I guess we have to, well, not guess, we need an appraisal. And it's not first come, first serve, or if it's their letter in, I want to buy it, it's gotta be open market, and it's not ours to keep.
Right.
So we have to share all those taxing entities that were dinged, or that helped with the redevelopment agency, have to get their portion of that, the money.
Yeah, I mean, we can put an RFP together to look to proposals that you would like to see, but ultimately that the property has to be sold, and then the proceeds from that goes to the 14 different districts or assessment districts.
Okay, that's all I want to bring up from that, so,
So it needs to be sold?
yes.
Yeah. It does. It has to. We can't keep it ourselves.
Which was different than
The,
The,
the value of the property probably isn't that high. It's more of the redevelopment potential of it. That's gonna be the most important thing.
Could it? Yeah, could it be purchased by the city or like?
That's more legal than what I would. I don't, I understand it's what they sell.
Be a great starter point for the library.
and fire department.
Mr. Mayor and Councilmember Ramirez, the redevelopment, long-range property management plan specifically says that it's to be sold. So, I suppose the city could buy it, but I think it would have to be offered, for sale first, but maybe not. That's something we could ask our consultant. Yeah, we're gonna need to do that anyway as the road leader moves forward, in terms of getting the compensation agreements finalized with the taxing entities so that we can move forward on both of those projects.
Or maybe even working with something with the county since it is usually county operated anyway, so like. Some sort of something or another.
Possibly next year, maybe.
We should agendize that item because, as the report indicates, finally, after the whole time I've been here, the 5 years I've been here, that property's been in remediation. And it's finally now can be moved forward and in a way that's consistent with the long range property management plan. There are a number of options, so we should bring it for discussion in the future plan.
Okay.
Future meetings.
Thank you.
We'll come forward, we'll figure something out. Okay.
All right, we'll go to regular business, and I, as I request, I want to move, Leroy Park Community Center mural contest up. Ms. Fuentes. You're on.
So.
The line, check the line in the back.
Check the volume.
There you
There
go.
we go. Okay, so if you look at the staff report, I put the submissions. Yeah. If you look at the staff report, I replaced the attachments in order of ranking from the Recreation and Park Commission's recommendations. So the first one is submission 2. If you've had a chance to read it, it kind of just describes what they were going for, how they were tying in cultural Guadalupe ties. And then the Park and Recreation Commission's comments were that they liked the depiction of children playing various sports because that's what would be going on at Leroy Park. They also included the backdrop is a 1950s agricultural poster from Guadalupe. So they like that they tied in the history as well. The second ranked one is submission number 4. That one has a lot of historical references. It has 2 map natives, Spanish explorers, 1950s dancers and cars, the water tower, the agricultural fields, and the dunes. So they liked the concept of that one. I think it was more, the top ranked one was because it has both elements of history and what actually would be taking place at Leroy. And then the third ranked one, they like that one as well because of the cultural references and then the depiction of our diverse community. But they did comment saying that it was a little busy. There's a lot of things going on in that one. So at this point, it's up to your decision as far as which one you think is best.
Any comments from the council?
Yeah, was there a concern with the doors, the mural for attachment 2? Yes, so whoever is chosen tonight, I've already emailed all 3 of the top candidates to let them know that they need to come to the Rec and Park Commission meeting tomorrow. So whoever is picked will receive feedback from the commission. So if it were to be number 2, that was one thing that they brought up, that they would let them know that they need to, if they want to still do that backdrop, that's fine, but they would have to reposition it because they want to keep the glass doors clear to let the natural light in. So that was one comment that they had said they would make to that person if they were chosen.
Comments from the council?
I actually, what's funny is that I actually like submission 3. The most just because I feel like it's very representative of the community as well as of like the heritage behind it too. So that was actually my own personal number 3, but of course, number 2 was their first ranking, so. I just turned it upside down.
Ultimately, it's your guys' decision. That's just their recommendation.
Council, any recommendation changes or? Not changes, but any thoughts? So you need a motion for us to move forward, let's see.
Yeah, so this is the middle kind of window, and these are the two,
Maybe we can
not windows, so the.
each just vote on one?
Yeah.
For the lights or?
Let's do that, let's start from my left, Mr. Robles, any particular. That stands out to you, that are you in agreement with the commission?
I like the attachment number, I guess it's number 2. I like the movement, that Lily Park has been a big on to sports, but it also has that 1950s ad art, which I'm not sure whether they were able to work that with the doors. And yeah, I'm okay with number attachment 2.
Attachment 2 is submission 2,
Submission to.
submission 10. Mr. Costa.
I like submission number 2. I like how it listed, with the gym and everything. I believe with the label that they would use as the backdrop for it, with the doors showing glass, they can still work with that and
Mr. Ramirez.
Mine was submission number. They're all numbered so differently.
Yeah, that's,
Submission 3 as my number 1. But I am A-okay with going first on the pictures as well. So.
I like attachment 2 as well, they're top choice, and I also too agree with the windows being clear.
and personally, submission 2 is my choice too, so. So you need a vote? Okay, is there a motion to approve submission number 2? The mural,
I'll motion to approve submission number 2.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Do we? You need to stick around, you want to stick around? Don't they have political tonight?
Let's give her the choice. It's up to you. Give her the choice.
You have a
Yeah, she'll be
choice.
gone.
You have a choice. Okay, thank you.
Give up the choice, yeah.
But I'm like, I don't.
You're not even-
No.
Yeah.
You're
gets a
in
choice.
permanent detention.
Yes. All right, now for the item, now is 12, consideration of rescinding selection of second commercial cannabis business permit applicant, retail, element 7, Mr. Senecal.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, people.
On April 12th this year, the city council took 2 actions concerning selection of commercial cannabis business permit applicants. One, the council decided to select only 2 of the 5 applicants to move forward in the process of applying for and obtaining the CCD permits. And the council selected one applicant as a prevailing candidate. That's the term used in the municipal ordinance for selected candidate. They selected Slow Cal Roots, but the council was not able to reach agreement on the second prevailing candidate at this meeting. There was a lack of majority support for any of the 4 remaining applicants, but the council was able to narrow down the selection from the 4 remaining to the Roots Dispensary and Element 7. Council directed city staff to request that these 2 applicants make another presentation to the council, focusing on the community benefit and neighborhood plan portion of their application. Councilmember Ramirez and Cardenas in particular identified these areas of focus for the presentations. The additional presentation from these 2 applicants took place at the April 26th council meeting. Unfortunately, Councilmember Ramirez and Councilmember Costa were not present at this meeting, but there was a quorum, so it was legally permissible for the council to move forward with this presentation and make its decision, which it did. After the presentations, the city council members deliberated and ultimately selected Element 7 on a 3-0 vote as the second of the 2 prevailing candidates to move forward in the process. Several weeks later, it came to my attention that Councilmember Ramirez had sent an email to Mayor Julian and City Administrator Todd Bodum after 10 p.m. on Monday, April 25th, which was the night before the council meeting. And in this email, Councilmember Ramirez stated his opinion concerning a number of items that were on the council's agenda for the April 26th meeting, including his opinion that the Roots Dispensary should be selected as the second prevailing candidate. Unfortunately, this email was inadvertently not included as part of the public record at the April 26th meeting. I have determined that the failure to include this email as part of the public record, while accidental, nevertheless resulted in a procedural irregularity that requires the city council to consider rescinding the decision it made at the meeting to select Element 7 as the second prevailing candidate. As discussed in much greater detail in the staff report, while it was Councilmember Ramirez's intent that the email be included as part of the public record, this was not completely obvious from the overall context. He, at the end of the email, he simply stated that please feel free to share the email out during the meeting. It was not definitively stated that it was to be included as part of the public record. Regardless, the failure, the email should have been included as part of the record, even though its failure to include it was inadvertent and accidental. Even though the email could not have been used as a way for Councilmember Ramirez to cast his vote, nor was it required to be read aloud, excuse me. It should have been included, including it as part of the record may have had an effect on the vote that was taken, or it may have resulted in a decision by the council to continue the vote to another meeting. So for the foregoing reasons, as the city attorney, I am recommending that the city council rescind its prior decision of April 26th in favor of Element 7. And should the city council agree and vote to rescind its prior decision, I'm also recommending a second action, that the council select a future meeting where all 5 council members will be available to attend, and where both Element 7 and the Roots Dispensary will be invited to make another presentation to the city council, focusing on the community benefit and neighborhood plan portions of their applications. I am recommending this, but obviously the council has the final decision. It's not a legal requirement that you do so, but it is the recommendation from the city attorney that you do rescind the decision based on the facts stated in the staff report. I'm available to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any, let's bring it in first. One of the things that I hate to see a gray area, and this is a gray area, so we need to flush it out. And in my opinion, and to flush it out and go back and then get everybody, all 5 of us, to vote our conscience and our opinion. that's one item. The second one is, that in, I would like to expand, since they're gonna be here, we're talking about community benefit neighborhood plan. But there's also details in terms of other elements, that should be considered, not just, community benefit, because somebody could say, oh, I'm gonna give you 100 grand and that's it. And, so both of them can come up with 100 grand and then and that's it. But I think we need to dig deeper into it since we're bringing them back, or we may bring them back. To actually look at our notes and say, look at the overall plans. All the specific elements that we talked about before in judging all of the dispensary applications. But I'm in favor of just going back and making sure that 5 of us are here, we can guarantee that. And that's, and I think that it would be, that's my opinion, so.
I personally would recommend hopefully us like a special meeting just for this, just to be able to make sure that we have the availability of being here, and then as well as being have the opportunity to hear from the public as well. If we're trying, especially because we've been doing this has been a long
Yeah,
process.
yeah.
So maybe sometime between now and the next meeting, sometime maybe getting something like that. I guess, Mr. Cinco, the only thing I have a question on is why rescind the first one? Since that one was something where we were all here unanimously.
No, it's not.
No, no,
Oh,
I'm not asking that, just the 26.
Oh, okay, sorry, I was just confused with the.
Yeah, is it very,
Never mind.
okay, good, yeah.
Somebody jumped out of their chair over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in favor of, moving forward with rescinding and doing this over again.
Mr.
Yeah, yes, I'm fine with doing a revote, is that what we're doing? And are we listening to presentations, or are we going off? There's no new presentations, correct?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I may, yeah, not tonight, no presentations tonight. I needed to make sure the council wanted to rescind the decision. And then we wanted to we didn't want to invite the applicants to come, and make a presentation if the council wasn't going to rescind its decision. So we wanted, and we also want to reschedule to make sure that every council member is available so that we can make a final decision. That's what we're asking. I'm asking 2 options. First, we'll need 2 motions, one to rescind or not. And then if there is a rescinding, then the schedule a new council meeting. It could be special or it could be a regular meeting.
First, you got, you. Fine. Yes, go. You're fine. Either way, or,
I mean, there was 2 of us gone, but there was still a quorum, and it was out there fair and square, who's to say it wouldn't have changed the way it was, even with Councilmember Mayor sending in an email, who's to say I could have still been on the fence for the 2 that weren't here, so it would have been a 3-1 to a no. But if you guys are into rescinding, majority vote.
okay, the request and recommendation is to, by motion, rescind a decision.
Mr. Mayor, just sorry, I don't know. Are there any requests to speak on this? If there are, we should obviously do them, but if they're
I thought
not,
I asked that.
okay, you didn't receive any? Okay, I just wanted to confirm that. Thank you.
Any written document, any invoices, any.
Nothing. Oh.
I did not even.
Okay. By the way, during that period, starting back and even before that, even before April, a lot of the correspondence we didn't put into the minutes. Now we're making sure that everything that comes in an email is part of the minutes, so we live and learn.
Mr. Mayor, everything except for, everything that I was aware of that should have been included in the record was. There were communications sent to 1 or 2 council members and not shared with the rest that was not required to be included because there was no indication, or there may have been, I
Right.
can't remember. But everything, I just want to be clear, we didn't miss anything.
Right.
Except for unfortunately, Councilmember Ramirez's email. And And that's just unfortunate, but I think a record's pretty clear, pretty complete otherwise.
Okay, that's one item. Rescind the motion, the other one is select date. Is there, is there a motion on these two items or one at a time?
So we need to pick the date, right?
With July 19th at this time work.
What about August 9th, our regular scheduled meeting?
What's the calendar?
Well, July 26th is their second meeting, and I think it's then August 11th,
Yeah, August 9th.
or, yeah, I
So
don't have a
we won't
calendar.
Be here July 26th.
I'm in favor of the special meeting, just to
Good.
get it done and, we wouldn't have a,
So you
unless
could,
there's other,
That's
other,
next Tuesday.
other topics we need to get forward on this, but, so. Special meeting, are you good with?
Yeah, I'm good
Are
with
you
July
good with special meeting?
July 19th.
19th.
There's something happening the ninth.
I know.
What is that?
July.
collectors too, but I can't.
What is it? Okay,
How about Thursday?
This Thursday?
no,
Well,
You're talking about the 23rd.
yeah, the 21st.
what is that? What day is it? Is that a Wednesday or, that 19th,
The 19th is Tuesday.
Tuesday? Okay.
August 19th?
July,
No,
July.
Next week.
So,
I'm sorry, maybe we should do a couple, since it's so quick, maybe a couple of days. And then if one of the applicants can't make it, or it's actually short notice, that we would have it.
Short notice, they're all out here.
They're all out there. They're listening.
I only see one. Oh, maybe they're both. Okay, they're both there, then they can jump up and say the date.
I think it moves everybody to be here that.
I agree. Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there a motion,
I just have a quick question.
okay,
But
please.
so for our clarification for these future meetings, they will be presentations again?
Just the decision of it.
Okay.
There'll be a
Okay.
presentation.
Very good.
Well, it won't be like a full blown.
Yeah, it won't be.
Yeah, no, I'm recommending, like a full blown presentation like we had before. I think we did a 15-minute presentation with
5 minute
Um,
between.
5 minutes, and you also didn't want to limit it to just the two areas.
No.
You want to just open it up for everything.
Mhm.
So maybe we should do
Is
20
that,
minutes.
is that opening up a can of worms
No, it's the same information should be, that it was presented
for
before.
others, for other,
Well, there's only so much was presented in the first place.
we got the two, okay?
So, I would recommend that we, for this one, we do the 20 minutes with up to 10 minutes and questions, since it's nothing else on the agenda. If that's agreeable.
Okay.
So that would be a third presentation.
Yes. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Which I'm happy to share if anyone's interested.
We all are. but
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah. Got that.
Thought that. All right. Back to us. Are we good? Is there a motion to rescind the decision made on April 22nd, 26th?
I'll motion to rescind the decision from April 26th.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All ayes. No. And, sorry, 4 ayes and 1 no.
Yeah.
4-1. Now, the second item is a selection of date, and that would be July 19th. Is there a motion to select that date for a special meeting?
I'll motion to select that date for a special meeting.
6 p.m., correct?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. the 19th.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? I had a discussion. Are we gonna, is this limited to just that?
The special meeting?
Yes.
Yes. I
Okay,
mean, unless you want to add something else.
I don't.
Okay. I'm sure we can come up with, we can come up with a whole list of stuff if you want to.
Well,
If there's anything on the 26th.
the 26th is stacked. I mean, that's, if we could take some of those items. and fill.
Now, we'll limit it to just that one. And then it'll be a roughly, up to an hour presentation. and questions, and then
Wait a minute, not an hour presentation.
No, up to an hour of both. Total.
Yes, so- We're expensive, so you can't. Okay, the motion, there's a motion and second to move to a special meeting July 19th, 6 P.M. Is there a vote, please? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? One no.
No,
he said no.
I'm not opposed.
Okay, you're good with that? All eyes.
All eyes for the date, but not for
Yeah,
the.
okay, all right, thank you. Thank you, Bill, and
Thanks for spending time with me.
Part of that zone.
all right.
There we go.
Go to item 13, establishing a downtown resident permit parking pilot program in the 1,000 block of Guadalupe Street. Mr. Cash,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
somebody,
She just.
that?
She gave.
Oh, you're happy? Okay. We are too.
They haven't approved it yet.
Okay, Mr. Cash.
It is recommended that the city council adopt resolution number 2022-62, establishing a pilot program for the 1,000 block of Guadalupe Street. As reported, city council at its meeting on May 10th, 2022, public safety staff had received a city departmental request to enforce the downtown posted no overnight street parking between the hours of 12 midnight and 6 a.m. Parking regulations to enable the weekly Friday morning street sweeping contracted activity. In conjunction with this request, city police officers issued parking citations for illegally parking in the area after hours. Several residents who reside in 1,000 block Guadalupe Street complained about these citations and stated there are no available off-street parking spaces for them to park. These residents request assistance from the city with this problem. Staff determined that within this one block location, 1,000 Guadalupe Street, only 4 residential units do not have off-street parking. The Director of Public Safety reported at the May 10th council meeting about this situation and requested direction from the council on how to proceed. Information concerning how other cities have handled similar parking issues, including permit parking programs, was provided. City Council directed staff to develop a parking permit program that would allow the residents at these 4 residential units located in the 1,000 block Guadalupe Street to legally park their vehicles overnight, with the exception of Friday morning before 6 a.m. so that street sweeping can be performed. California Vehicle 22-507 provides that cities may, by resolution, designate streets upon which adjacent businesses and residents and their guests may have preferential parking privileges via permit system, while other parking is restricted. If such a permit parking system is established, section 22-507 requires that signs or markings give adequate notice of the permit parking system must be posted before the resolution applies. In response to council's previous direction given at the May 10th council meeting and consistent with Vehicle Code 2022-507, staff has developed a pilot permit parking program exclusive for the 1,000 block Guadalupe Street. The program authorizes highly limited permit parking, possible only for the 4 residents that lack off-street parking. If this pilot program is successful, it could be expanded to other areas in the city that face similar challenges. If the pilot program is not successful, the council could eliminate it. The attached resolution would create a pilot permit parking program for the 1,000 block Guadalupe Street and contemplates that the Department of Public Safety would work with other city departments to get necessary signs and post them, create a form for residents to fill out, create a permit form, and administer the program. Physical impact: establishing the pilot parking program would have a negligible impact on the general fund. There would be a slight cost to the general fund for staff time related to creation of the form for the pilot parking program, but because the program only applies to 4 residents, this cost is minimal. And the attachment is resolution 2022-62, establishing a permit program for the 1,000 block of Guadalupe Street. And that's the staff report for any questions.
Any questions from the council? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Have we talked with, any other departments that have where they got permit parking? like this to see how they kind of do that.
Yes, with the help of our city attorney, we reached out to Slow. And we looked at their permitting process and we talked with their parking people and also with the city of Santa Barbara and their parking program.
Have you checked with the sheriff department, how they do it in the Orchid area along by the high school?
No, sir, I have not.
Okay. Then want to check just to see.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ramirez.
Yeah, so I know this is a pilot program, so just for the record, how do you define success for this program?
Yeah, no tickets.
Well, right off the bat, I got some residents here. That's part of the success. They're happy. One is we have not really issued a lot of parking citations on this particular section through the downtown area. Because at a time, we did not really have a lot of street cleaning. So people just left their cars overnight. So we have stepped up because of street cleaning, and now this has been brought to our attention. So it's on us to step up our enforcement to make sure that we keep it clean and we keep it looking. So I look at that as if we can lower any citations because people are abiding by it and the residents are not getting citations. And also too, I look at if we're not getting any push in other neighborhoods as far as parking or any kind of crime that might be associated with car break-in. So kind of look at the whole pie to see if we can keep crime down, but then too, as far as just aesthetics looking, is the area is the area looking good? So I'm trying to put all that together to see if this is successful.
And then just follow up to that, is like, what's the time frame to kind of see this? Because I can see this being beneficial in other areas in the city as well. So if, what would be like our measurable timeline that we would be like, okay, it's starting tomorrow, and then, when is the date where we're like, let's take a look at this and see.
I would state at least a 6-month period. That gives us time to work out the bugs. We still got to get the permits really identified, not only with the property owner, how we're going to make sure that we distribute those and that we stay on top of it. And then to look that if there's going to be any other issues that might come out of it. That's one thing I'm not 100% sure of. We've got to look at, are we going to push maybe a problem some other neighborhoods and will people go and park someplace else? So I think 6 months should be a good enough time to really see how this kind of turns out.
I had a question so what if there's four parking spaces? What if each of them had 2 cars?
1 car, 1 space.
Okay, so 4 tags,
Yes, sir.
and I'm sure you're gonna have some kind of
Marking.
tag. Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right. Any other comments?
The ones that are issued permits, chief, will they still, will they know the specific day where there might be an alternate spot that they can park for street sweeping?
That's the other chief over there.
Thank you.
I must admit, just to kind of piggyback on that question. We have worked really hand in hand with our community citizens. They're the ones who brought it up. After we got the ticket, I went to their home. We sat down, we talked about it. They came to the office. So this has been a real collaborative effort, which I really like, other than just the city just stepping in and doing something. We really talked this out. We found something that could work for all of us. So it's been a real collaborative effort.
Okay, any public comment?
I'm just very grateful.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, is there,
I'll make a motion.
okay. To approve resolution 2022-62,
I'll make, the resolution dash 2022-62. Can we approve that?
is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Real quick roll call, please.
Councilmember.
Councilmember Ramirez.
Aye.
Councilmember Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilmember Costa Junior.
Aye.
Councilmember
I,
Mayor Jillian.
Aye, thank you. Thank you, staff, thank you.
Oh my God, you guys are awesome.
Did you tell them the $300? Per month.
Can she pull you behind over there? Yes.
Yes, okay, one solution. Chief, why don't you introduce, or Todd, introduce this gentleman here?
This is Gabriel Matsura. And he's running everything for us and he's doing a great job.
Good job,
Thank you.
trying to fight it. I know that you noticed you fighting a little bit, not you, but,
It was, yeah, it wasn't his fault.
yeah, I know, but I mean, so.
But it was a test. Huh?
Okay.
It's probably my fault. You know, I didn't.
Todd didn't feed the mouse with a will to keep it.
All right, item 14, approval to reinstate the public safety intern program, Chief Cash.
Ironically,
Thank you, Mr.
this is all planned.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Your job.
Yeah.
Tonight, I'd like for a recommendation that City Council provide approval for the Guadalupe Department of Public Safety to reinstate the public safety intern positions. In March 2022, the City of Guadalupe Department of Public Safety developed and implemented public safety intern positions with City Council approval ARPA funds. This highly competitive internship program is open to undergraduate students interested in public safety and pursuing a degree in public administration, homeland security, criminal justice, emergency medical services, emergency management, fire technology, or related field. Interns receive hands-on learning experiences as they will be fully integrated into the department and are assigned projects related to public safety, communications, or community preparedness. Interns also prepare reports, research, recommendations, and correspondence on behalf of the Public Safety Department. Participants in the program are assigned a mentor who is an experienced public safety professional. All applicants meet the following minimum requirements: enrolled or plan to enroll as a full-time undergraduate student, minimum 12 units in community college, four-year college, or university during the fall semester or quarter. A minimum of 3.0 cumulative GPA preferred, strong oral and written communication skills, detail-oriented, creative thinker, and ability to strategize and solve complex problems, and proficient in Microsoft Office applications. The program is geared to prepare and provide experience to community youth for careers in the public safety field. The Department of Public Safety is seeking City Council approval to reinstate the current 3 public safety interns. Fiscal impact is reestablished public safety intern program will have no additional impacts to the general fund. Funding for the public safety interns will continue through the fire department part-time employee budget line item 014220-0125. Each of the 3 intern positions is budgeted for $11,000 per year, and the current budget is balanced out at $35,000. This budget line item has historically been paid to part-time firefighters. Recruitment for part-time firefighters is currently low to non-existent due to numerous full-time job opportunities for firefighters. Utilizing these funds for area youth employment and development increases their job readiness. They gain valuable job exposure and experience, and they contribute back to the community that they live in. Utilizing and repurposing these existing and budgeted funds is no additional cost or correction to the general fund. And just piggyback on this program it has been for us highly successful. And we kind of paired this with some of the goals of having our youth being involved and earning money, going to college. We're the only program that's doing this in the county of Santa Barbara. We got a lot of applicants who want to do this, but we wanted to find a way to put money, experience, time, mentorship into our own community, into our own kids. These are Guadalupe youth that are getting experience, and it's something that we'll make sure they're going to college, and we're looking for the long term that they'll stay, they'll serve back in the community, and they'll give back to the community that they live in. So they're able to do all kind of different things. That's why I have them tonight, because even though I have all full faith in our administrator as far as being AV monitor, it's nice to have someone who does have that skill and ability, and that we can utilize them not only in the parks, but other aspects throughout the city. So, and this falls on me. I did not bring it up during our budgeting because there was so much distraction and other things going on. I did not want to delay the process at the time. I just wanted to get it done and get that vote done, and hopefully be able to come back later on to be able to make sure that we reinstate this and I don't lose these three valuable resources. So that's my report for any questions staff or council and staff have.
Comments? Anything from the public? All two of them? Okay, Brendan. On the schedule, it says all interns will be expected to work 80 to 20 hours per week for a minimum of 8 to 20 hours a week for a minimum of 10 consecutive weeks. What does that mean?
This is really a 5-month program. They have a actual schedule that would be almost similar to the fire academy and EMS. So they have to complete all different kind of tasks. Their mentor and trainer was here, but he had to go out on a call. So they're getting all the training that a regular firefighter would get and an EMS would get prior to going to the academy. We want to prepare our youth so that when they get to that point, they will excel at the fire academy or anything else, and that they're using those skills right now. They're going out with the fire department on different calls and using some of those skills in the community right now. So not only do they live here, they're using those skills here. They're going to college to make sure that they're going to be better prepared than the other candidates going through the fire department. And at least I can get some of them to come back and use those same skills back here in our community.
So there's a guarantee that they'll come back and work in the community.
Well, and that's a very good question. It's more of a guarantee than what we're doing right now with our paid call firefighters. And we have a council person who's been in that position. Usually we get a lot of young people that did not live in the community, that have no connection to the community. They would come in, get their training and leave. So I never saw a huge benefit to Guadalupe residents. They'd be here for a while, get their experience and training, and then leave. And then that was just a continual cycle. With our young people here, I can keep them for a while. And I like to hope that we're building like a farm team for the future of them living here, staying here. They have connections here, they have skin in the game, and they can bring those skills back to us.
I mentioned the chief when I saw this in regards to what the fire group would have to say about using paid call funds. Is there any feedback on that? Is there, and I know how many work, I know you work with the fire. How many, is there any in the police department, or is it all fire?
This was originally supposed to be police, fire, and emergency preparedness.
Okay.
But all the youth that came in wanted to go, they wanted to be firemen. That's their problem. None of them wanted to go to the cop side, so we saw a huge request over there, and that's where we kind of built it in.
Who would not want to be able to work just 10 months, 10 days out of the month and be relaxed? Remember, work up, if you want to be firefighter.
This is good that I'm being recorded and I'm officially on duty, so we can respond later, so.
You got a good sense of humor.
Is there 3 besides Gabe, or how many do you have?
We have 3 currently.
Okay.
You have this young man,
Luis Ramos
Luis Ramos.
and Eric
Vera.
Vera.
Now, they're not, do they respond, they don't respond to the fire, or do they?
they will respond to everything with the fire department, but they will not be put into harm's way. So they're training, they'll train, do a lot of the same, the similar things and the tools, but right now, we have one that's EMS trained, as far as our EMT trained, but I have to get him authorized to be able to touch a person.
Right.
But he is getting on-the-job learning skills that he would never get any other place. Gabe here is getting the same skills. Matter of fact, he signed up at Hancock to attend the next EMT training. They were accepted to go, which is great. And so then he'll get to come back. And then I'll put him on the list. And so hopefully then when he goes to calls, he'll be able to assist. So we're expanding services with having these young people here now.
I don't think there's anything better than having someone that lives here and working in the community to understand it, so. I'm supportive of this. Any comments? Any discussions?
Budget item that comes, it's just basically reallocating the money to this program.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The ARPA one, right? ARPA funds, or-
No, we're not using any ARPA
No,
funds.
not using any ARPA.
No, the ARPA funds were for the year that just ended. There was $10,000 not run out in the year prior. So, what Chief is saying is that he's wanting to replace the PCF line item that was in the budget for $35,000 and use that for the interns, approximately 11,000 each, so that's 33,000 for the year. So that is what my understanding is.
Correct.
Do you approve?
As long as he doesn't go over the 35,000.
$1 over.
Very my best.
My other question for this is, I'm trying to think creatively, because my mind is going into my council mode right now for Hancock. And, a lot of the things that people get, like the public safety intern stuff, if you can do it simultaneously with the internship, they can get that credit to count towards their fire degree. So like, for instance, if they're doing the CWE, which is the cooperative work experience, if they're putting in these amount of hours here, that's roughly going to be about 4 to 5 units that they'll be able to get. And those go towards the 33 units that he will need in order to be able to get his fire tech degree on there. And so the EMS Academy plus the Fire Academy plus the internship would mean that he wouldn't have to take anything outside of this core classes that he'd have to take on there. So that's the 101 through 106. So I would say if there's a way through being able to like tag team with the CWE program with the Career Center at Hancock, that and when they fill out the application for this and get accepted, that like, because I'm sure Amelia probably had to fill out some sort of application kind of thing. If they can fill it out in tandem with that, then that means as soon as they start, they would be ready to go. And they can start and stop that internship program pretty much at any time. So like if you hired them in October, they could start at a certain semester, certain start of the semester, as long as the semester is going, which is year round during that time. So
Can I ask, would you like to volunteer to be our department counselor to help them at college?
well, if I'm currently not working through the college right now. So, but if and when I do return back, yes, I can fully do that. And it also worked for the EMS side of things too. So those same CWE units would count towards that, which stands for cooperative work.
That would be great. And I tell you now, it would be this would be one of the sought after positions in the county now for young people. We're the only one doing it.
And the fire instructor, they're not Leonard, but the Johnson Senya, he's the intern program person, and he could put this in his like when people come to him, because people come to him all the time for internships, this program could be put on that list. They already do it with Santa Maria Fire. And typically they usually only do it for people who already have their EMS, but I'm sure they can create a whole other section already like for that. So I don't foresee that being a problem for John.
Great. And like I said, for ours is geared toward our Guadalupe youth.
Yes.
And then the other follow-up piece for this is to give them incentives to keep going to school. Because $11,000 isn't a huge amount. So, I was wondering if there's a way that we can make it so that they get paid, maybe possibly like the minimum wage portion of things, and then that difference gets put away for maybe like a scholarship or something for them to be able to apply that to their school specifically. So they encourage to keep going. So what happens to a lot of fire guys, tell you right now, is that they go through the academy and then they don't finish their degree until they're like way later in life. And then they have to go back to school, like, you know, later on to try to promote and do and whatnot. So if there's a way that we can make that happen for part of the money to go towards like the difference, split the difference, right? The minimum wage and then whatever's left over, that is what they get upon completion of the internship program, so they can finish school.
That'd be great if I got my other 10,000 back. That was taken out of the budget.
He's not shy.
You can do
No, I'm not saying that. I mean, yeah, I'm
No.
just saying repurposing the 11 that's already there.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Right?
it would be the
This difference.
difference. So if it's like, what's the minimum wage right now? 15? So the $3 difference per hour. That
Apply it towards,
apply that
We
towards like,
applied to the
yeah.
scholarship.
and we need our Guadalupe youth to be encouraged to keep going to school. So like that, I think that at the tail end, it's almost like an AmeriCorps kind of thing where they get a living stipend and then they get like an educational benefit at the end once they complete the program.
Definitely, and maybe I need to set with you and you can help me, but I will go to the college and I think this is gonna make this program even that much more successful and beneficial to Guadalupe.
And then I think we can replicate it in other departments if it's successful, so, and we have the money for it. If we have the money. So like, I can see this being really cool in public works, I can see it being really cool in budgets, like, getting people, yeah, finance.
Okay, any requests
Recreation.
out there?
There's their mentor sitting in the back right there. He's our trainer.
ah,
Is, okay, we have, there is a resolution before us.
Motion to approve resolution 2022-63.
A second.
Question, are we going to come back with that whole restructuring of the wage do we need to for the scholarship?
Or does that just need to, can that be something just internal?
That's internal.
Well, if I can add to that, if it's 11,000, correct?
yeah,
for
each,
Budgeting each, and you have a 35, so you have a 2,000 over. So it would go into a lottery type GPA on who continues
to be determined.
to pursue their education. And maybe EMS or fire, and somebody writes a possible award letter and be granted the balance of that. That's simple enough.
So the process could be done internally, right? We could just have a resolution, we're looking at it right now. So
Yeah, we have a motion on the floor.
could it just be we can tease out the program once it's already approved, right? Like that's,
Well, you mean, this,
or not the contingents, like we
none of
don't.
the, other than the internal change of the budget, which you can informally approve with this motion, the other issues that you're talking about would have to come back, I guess. That wasn't even on the agenda. I mean, the stuff you're talking about, the other additions.
Oh, like this, okay. Okay.
That would have to come back, because that wasn't, I mean, you can talk about it, but it wasn't really on the agenda.
Well, what I'm saying is that part doesn't need to come back to council, though, right? Like I can just like sit with chief and be like,
Oh,
oh, like
right.
of the 11,000 that we've
Because
already
it's already
approved,
allocated.
you can do what you need to do with that.
Oh, yeah, you would just approve the.
Yes,
the
yes,
allocation,
okay.
correct.
Would we need to change the attachment 2, which is the announcement?
I think that's what we would be able to tease out without having to come back, because that's,
I think maybe it's more of a question for Lorraine. I would assume that any change in the budget could be done at the mid-year.
yeah, we wouldn't need to change anything in the budget. It's
Well,
just
just
what's already-
the
The
category.
structure.
That's the structure of the
Yeah.
program.
Okay, yeah.
The money's just going to
That
another.
would,
Yeah.
or then turn that to the internal.
Okay.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Let's roll call, please.
Councilmember Rivera,
Aye.
Councilmember Cardenas,
Aye.
Councilmember Costa,
Aye.
Councilmember Robles,
I,
Aye, all ayes, thank you, chief,
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, good job.
You
You're not, you
can come tomorrow.
I still
You
need,
get to come tomorrow.
we still need you.
Yeah.
That's a great ploy, putting him in front of us. like,
No, was that by design?
It was either gonna be him, or he was gonna put one of his, police cadets to sit there and see if they could. Maybe they wanna become firemen.
Hey, hey.
Okay, I have 14, approval to reinstate, but no,
That
was done.
15, agreement for animal control.
First off, did I do such a bad job? Considering everything? Yeah. Okay, so the county animal control service contract expired June 30th, 2022. The city or the county, Santa Barbara County, decided in their wisdom to do a full cost recovery study. And without really including the cities and the city's opinion on that. So we as agencies, cities, sent a letter back late last year indicating that we want to be a part of that study. They received the county received the letters, but didn't choose to include the agencies in that. And then it went to the county board to accept the study to allow for these increases for a full cost recovery. We currently, where we just ended paying $61,900, and our new increase is 4.5%, which brings it to $64,740. And then it's roughly 6 to 6.5% going to July 1, or no, June 30th, 2027. So we've analyzed it, talked to Santa Barbara, the city of Santa Barbara, Lompoc, and all the cities are signing on to this agreement. But Santa Barbara and Lompoc are deciding to study, they're doing it in-house, and they have to do some work knowing that there's an out clause of 60 days to where they can get out. So they're signing up. So I talked to, what's that person's name, Shannon? Manny, Mark Vandekamp.
Santa Maria.
Yeah, Santa Marina, and he indicated that I could probably talk to him to see if we could maybe partner. As it stands, after talking to the chief here, there's really no way we can do it any cheaper than even what they're offering right now. So my recommendation, we keep our eye, we sign the agreement, have the mayor sign it, and you approve it tonight. And then wait to see what happens with Santa Maria and see if we can do something better and then do a 60-day out clause. Otherwise, I just think we can't do it any cheaper in-house.
Questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had a lot to think about this one, so, and I understand that that internally we don't have the infrastructure of being able to do this, we just don't.
We need a
And I totally understand that. I also think that the county has put us in a pretty hard, like, a rock and a hard place, if you will, about this. And I feel like they haven't gotten a whole lot of pushback as much as they probably thought they were going to initially, because 5 years is a lot to sign up for something like this. And I don't believe that we, especially, I don't want to sign anything if the majority of the council agrees with this, sign anything and then try to get out within 60 days. The leverage I think that we have right now is that we have an open contract with them and we can try to negotiate the amount of years versus that. And then maybe if we get 3 years, maybe it won't be as high of an increase. Because these cost recovery that they're trying to do here, this isn't set in stone for them. These are just like estimates. I mean, there's no way that in 5 years they're gonna know if this is the correct amount or not the correct amount during those times. And I think what they're trying to do right now is that they had lost a few, because I watched a couple of the budget hearings specifically for this, and they basically pulled out what they were contributing to this amount for that. So I think that if we are able to vote no on this, we'll take this back to them to renegotiate the amount of years, then that gives us enough time to be able to work with our own supervisor, who's been really accommodating towards our community and saying, can we advocate for something where that maybe gets phased back in, or if there's a split the difference. Right now, I went from splitting the difference to all on the cities to be able to help do this. I mean, if you look at this in year 5, if we're paying 83, like that's
So 33% increase from. current.
And if we can model the type of customer service that we get from other providers, and I'm looking at Shannon's, we have a really good provider for like waste management, things like that. Where maybe we can look at what the service is and that we're getting for it to make sure that we're actually getting our money's worth. I think there's a few things that we need to do as a city before we can say yes to a contract and then just tying ourselves into it and not holding ourselves to that. So that's just how I feel about this. The way it stands right now, the amount of years, I don't agree with it.
Mr. Mayor, I made, that's Councilmember Ramirez in the council. Councilmember Ramirez, I just wanted to clarify, I asked Todd to see the section. We don't have to make a decision in the first 60 days after we enter in the contract, whether we want to stay or not. We can give 60 days notice at any time during the contract and exit the contract. So we could be in year 1, year 2, year 4. So we're not tied to the, we don't have to, we can, it says for convenience, so we can just give 60 days notice and be done with it. We obviously have to have animal services by state law, so.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that what your strategy isn't correct or anything.
Yeah,
just wanna make it
no, I
clear.
think you're giving me the actualness, and I think that's even more so. Right now, we have a bargaining chip, if you will, as if we haven't signed anything yet.
Yeah,
And so
there's a
if
logic.
if we get in,
Well,
then
then,
it's a
yeah,
little harder for us to get out.
yeah, it is. I just wanted to say, we're not tied to it.
Perfect, thank you.
And if something comes along in a year and it's a much better deal, we can just give 60 days and then, move to that. So, we're not tied for 5 years if something better comes along. But you're right, we may be able to negotiate some benefit if we say 5 years is just too long to even commit to, even if we get out. I understand that point. I just wanted to clarify that it's not the first 60-day period,
Okay.
and you can't return it anymore or something like that. Okay.
Okay, any other discussion?
Yes. So. You talked with them, right? So how many animal service workers do they have that drive around in the trucks? And what's the area they gotta cover? Cause I know when you call for them and we get a dog at the school, we gotta put the dog in the back of the PD. And that dog stays back there almost
So
a day,
you know,
almost overnight. I mean, you're gonna pay $64,000 for someone and we can't even get them out here on the weekend. There was a dead possum that got ran over right here on Guadalupe Street, sat out there for the whole weekend until someone could come out and pick it up on a Monday.
I know that in their study, they do want to hire extra staff, and I do know after interviewing the chief and some of his staff is that one of the issues is sort of the slow response. But so that's the big issue, but in terms of what their response time is, I don't really have that.
Yeah, because, you know, what areas are we covering, you know, we gotta. You know, I know Lompoc has their own, I don't know if it's the county, but it's the county that has their. So these guys right here are covering Orchid. Santa Maria, Guadalupe. The rural area around, you know, and if they only have 2 or 3 guys driving around. You know, how are they gonna be able to accommodate, and they're asking cities to pay all this money and they can't even give, you know, at least say, hey, you know what, our days are gonna be Tuesday, Thursday in Guadalupe, and then Mondays will be in Santa Maria, 'cause it's a big area. Wednesday will be, you know, and then the rural areas will, however, but at least knowing that there's a day that, okay, they're gonna be out, you know, doing, and that they're available on the weekend, because you call their number and you don't get no response.
Do you know how many calls you get yourself? Typically, you get quite a few calls for animals.
Most animals that we get, we'll probably average maybe about 8 or 9 a month. Because you can look on Facebook on how many times lost animals. And so what really happens, because the council person is absolutely correct, the response time is ridiculous. Most people hold on to them and they just try to exchange it themselves. Our biggest issue is with the deceased animals. I've been in the alleys and you have a dead cat. And bottom line is you have to have this to dispose of it. If we do it ourselves, that'd be a whole lot easier, but And their response is slow. So all we can ever do is push it to the side. And hopefully kids don't come by, but you're right, it takes a long time.
Yeah, because then the other issue you have too is. If the resident gets a dog that's outside, then they get. 20 questions asked to them in the third degree, well, whose dog is it, how did you get it, is it registered, and it's like. That dude, the dog got out, you're asking me about it, and it's licensing, and it's not even their dog, but it's, so that's why you end up seeing them still. Running and they're not, nowhere near, so.
Is there optional agencies out there to contract with, or do they just run again?
Yeah.
Wow.
They got a monopoly.
And the Constitution says you can't have a monopoly.
Especially government monopoly.
Okay. This is the hard pill.
That's 380,000 in the 5 years.
I mean, it does have the out
I
clause.
know, I'm thinking so much what we could do with that.
What's the wish of the council? The recommendation to approve and authorize signature.
We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. Really.
You have a choice.
Well, sorry. You have a choice to do something along the lines that Councilmember Ramirez suggested, like go back to the table and try and negotiate something. But we have to have animal control services one way or another, and this is the only game in town. We'll eventually have to enter into an agreement.
Yeah, we'll eventually have to enter it, but I
Yeah.
think right now we still have the opportunity to negotiate in years at least.
How long are we covered until,
In
like
terms,
for this,
we're at, oh, you mean now?
yeah, for this current contract?
No, currently, we need to update it now.
Oh,
We're
we
done.
need to.
Yeah.
The runner,
They were.
Okay.
They actually did.
That's all.
I'm glad.
Which was actually really. Yeah, they knew,
called them.
they knew it was on the agenda.
It's like Gabriel, I called him.
So I saw them on the computer.
So it starts, fiscal year July 1st.
Already out of compliance, it's all good.
Yeah, we're in a sense. out of compliance right now.
I hear.
Yeah, the cat
Oh.
saying no.
In a way.
No, we're good.
Get that dog. Get that dog.
The dog took my leg.
Is there a motion to approve this? Agreement?
I mean,
There is one.
Hold your nose.
Yeah.
so that what happens if that happens? Then do we by default have to?
There's no action if there's no motion.
Come and talk to us.
No action.
Right, action. Are we good with that?
Yeah, I'm good. I would have loved to see maybe even a presentation to what their changes were.
They've come before.
after this. Yeah, well, not,
Yeah.
I've been here.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is like,
Yeah.
you would think that they would come during a contract.
No action.
So, Mr. Mayor, I'm sure Mr. Bowden would appreciate some direction. All we've really heard, other than the price, which I'm sure is non-negotiable, is the number of years. Is there anything else?
Oh, the service time, the duration.
Response time.
You want some, something added to the contract?
The licensing portion of things, that they're never really tell us when they're gonna come in to be able to do the microchipping or when the microchipping is happening for residents. That's
Okay.
been a service that they've offered in the past, but we haven't seen.
It might,
Clinics.
to do it.
maybe I do bring them here.
Yeah, well, why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Because it's just, again, it's too hard to fill a swallow, and this is a lot of money.
Yep.
For us. Okay, just ask them to
Okay.
come and speak with us with you and get specific, so.
Okay.
Look at
that, that's it.
Get this.
Well, you want some-
I get the $12 car wash. and shit.
Can we do per call?
Yeah, really.
That would be.
Per call. All right,
That
all
would
right,
be,
go ahead. Yeah,
per call.
I think we're paying for everything.
It's more than people.
Everything that they've got.
They went up, yeah.
Item 16, future agenda items. Animal control.
Animal control. I'll see if I can get, well, not the next meeting because
No,
that one's packed. August 9th, I'll try to shoot.
okay. If you remember, yell. Item 17, announcements, council activity reports.
Yeah, there's a few things actually in the mix right now. Shannon and I were actually able to meet with Waste Management this past week and being able to talk about the contract that's happening, but also just the level of service and being able to do things a little bit more clear for residents. And I think we're able to kind of like sift through some of the fog, no pun intended, of things and cloudiness there. So I think that's going to be very beneficial when it comes up for an agenda item. I think it'll be really nice for people to be able to see what's going on. Last Saturday, one of fellow council members here and a few other residents graduated their program for the micro enterprise, the first class on there, and it was really inspiring to see all the residents who are going through the process of going through that micro enterprise of starting a business, learning the marketing, learning the how to do a business plan, and kind of see what was happening there. And I told them that they have a tight timeline because when you start seeing their revenues, they start real fast on there. So it was awesome to be able to see that, and that was in partnership with Los Amigos de Guadalupe.
Are they gonna do another one?
Yes, there'll be another one soon. Yeah, and then the other one, they were trying to make it exclusively Spanish as well to be able to attract some Spanish community. So, but the instructor they have is actually bilingual, so she's like, "I'll get whoever," and I'll get. So it worked out really well. Then the other piece is tomorrow we are meeting with our fun broadband advisory. So we're working with Charter to try to see if there's a way we can help elevate that service as well for our residents. So we'll be meeting here tomorrow at 3:30. And if anyone wants to come, you're more than welcome to. Those of you who already are coming, thank you for that. So and that'll be 3:30 here tomorrow. So and yeah.
No, just, Lorena and I also, or we sit on the committee that oversees the program for the micro enterprise.
Oh, perfect.
And so, it's good that we're gonna be able to have a second round and, Weave is currently the program, the Women's Economic Venture, who does the classes, and now they've said the material is yours and we can do it. Carla, the instructor.
She's amazing.
She
She is
is.
amazing.
She is, so, she said she's willing to come back and give the class again in Spanish.
Gilbert. Yeah,
Graduated this week.
yeah.
Yeah, so I did, we will start this Sunday. Hannah, the 17th, at 1 o'clock at the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center. And anybody interested, I think I have one of them, there might be about 20. And we're gonna be doing our first bonsai class.
What time?
1 o'clock. So if anybody needs information, yeah, you can show up. Mr. Muranaka will be there. And we've got, I think we're gonna be in combination with his existing bonsai club. It's been around for 30 something years. So we'll probably see some amazing trees out there. And yeah, so we'll be out there this Sunday.
What's the cost for that?
The cost is never changed its price from like 1969. There, it's $5 for class. Or
That was a lot of money back then.
$25 for 6 months. And yeah, he's been taught by his father. His father is 93 years old and
We talked to animal control.
Do you agree?
Go ahead.
It's hot and then it turns off.
Yeah.
Do you bring your own? Do you bring your own tree or?
Yes, you do. So For the first class, if you just wanna come out, bring your coffee, sit there. We did have a bonsai demonstration during Earth Day that was held at the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center also. And that was kind of our introduction. But yeah, if you have a specimen, and most people, one of the first trees that they work with is the juniper procumbus nana. And you can find any nursery stock, and Mr. Muranaka has a nursery in a bonsai nursery in the Pomo, and it's probably the only bonsai nursery from San Francisco to Los Angeles. So, yeah, it's a real ancient art. I've probably got about 20 now. And, yes, it's, there's a lot of principles, but, it teaches you a lot about patience. And there's a lot of things, metaphors about life, and the trees are really, really beautiful. So, you have the artistic flow.
I'm gonna say the pitch for Hannah, Hannah's been trying to get people to sign up for the 5K. Fusion Run, 31, I believe it is. So, anybody's,
How many
she'll
people?
be out there at a Chaco Park on Thursday. 6 o'clock, will be with their table.
I think Philip wants to that one.
You can run over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you bring your dog?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's nothing.
This is so weird. Am I allowed to comment on?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so as, Jean said, it'll be July 30th, which is Saturday. And check-in will be at 9, and the run, I can't even think now.
You
The
gotta
race
just
will
talk
start
into
at
it.
10. We are gonna do in-person registration day of, so if anyone walks by and sees what's going on and wants to register, they're more than welcome to. It does have to be cash payment day of, but prior to that, you can go to finance and pay check, card, different types of payments. So it's $20 with the full registration packet, which includes the shirt, an individual color packet, a participation medal, choice of water or Gatorade, and a choice of one snack. Or you could just do the $10 registration fee, which is just to run. And most likely the day of, I will be selling the shirts individually as well. Whatever shirts are left over that didn't get sold with the registration packet, those will be available then as well.
Since you've got the mic, give us an update on YouTube, Gil, and on the auditorium.
Yeah, so basically finished other than the paint job, yes.
Okay, we went out for RFQ for painting the auditorium. We received 2 bids back on July 10th, and I've already worked with the lowest responsive bidder, and we have blocked out the first 3 weeks in August, so nobody rents it, so that we can get the work during that time. I was supposed to have something for Bill to sign, so I will get that to him tomorrow. But then we'll hold a pre-construction meeting and get the work started. We're very excited.
And I talked to Hannah today about the curtains. So,
The curtains were in the warrants for today, which were approved.
Right.
So I will follow up tomorrow to see when they'll be able to ship those out.
And I'd like to commend Hannah that our softball program is working out really good. We're getting a lot of interest out there on Thursdays from our first game at 5 and 6. And I get to play with Airstone. I'm on his team, and it's quite a picture. And I played against Gene, and
he's a
He's quite a
He's a
Also-
power hitter.
also,
Power
we
hitter.
have Wednesdays drop-in volleyball, and that's getting a pretty good following there. And Fridays, we're having drop-in basketball, and those are both 5 to 7. So, thank you.
Am I allowed to comment?
Sure.
I just don't know.
You're still here, go ahead.
I also wanted to bring up the resource fair, which is coming up on July 23rd. So it's gonna be a really awesome event because not only are we combining forces with Fresno, who has a very similar community to ours, They'll be bringing in their community center for arts and technology group, which is made up of all kids. So they put on a play that addresses different issues that came up with a specific family. It's a true story of a family that went through a lot of hardships during COVID. So their play addresses that, and then the Padrecito Folklorico group will also be performing during intermissions. But the highlight is more for the actual resources themselves. So the way that we've set it up to kind of give incentive to people in the community to come out to that is we'll be doing passports that will be handed out at the door. They have the logo of all the different organizations that are going to be present there. Once you visit each table, a representative from the table will mark it off. Once you've filled out the entire passport, you give it back to the recreation table and they'll give you a raffle ticket. Each of the organizations is going to be providing a raffle item. So those will be raffled off during the intermission and then at the end of the performance. So I think it's gonna be really awesome. So for anyone who is watching this or will watch this at some point, it will be July 23rd. Doors will open at 3 p.m. and the performance will start at 4 p.m. And it's free.
There's gonna be probably about 35 people coming from Fresno. So they'll be leaving Fresno at 8 in the morning, bus. They'll get here, they'll start setting up here in the auditorium at 12:30. By the way, all of the stage, all of the technical, all of the video is done by the kids. And basically, it's kind of a spin-off. We want all our local kids to be able to understand what they're doing. This is the technology. I think the oldest person on the play is the grandma, and the rest of them are kids. So it's pretty cool. At 12:30, we're feeding them lunch at the senior center. So and then the plays and everything else. And this courtyard, right? The courtyard is where the participants or not the vendors, but the resource people will be there.
Yeah, so we'll have seating, obviously in the gym for the performance. There'll be regular seating, but also towards the back, we'll have, socially distanced seating for those that want to be socially distanced. We'll also be providing masks at the door for anybody that wants them. And then I believe we still have a lot of COVID tests that we should be able to hand out. I think those are at the senior center as far as I know. Oh, and then to your point about the courtyard is where all the organizations' booths will be set up. There'll also be concessions, so during intermission or before, if people want to buy any type of water, whatever it is that they want, that'll be offered by the Padrecito Folklorico group. And then you should be able to see it from here that the art is out there. So we'll probably just hose that down and then kind of disperse them throughout interspace between the different groups just to still show the art because it is local art. So we want to emphasize our community.
Yeah.
The date was July
23rd. So the resource fair is the 23rd and then the color run is the 30th. So they're both Saturdays back to back.
The resource or the organizations that are coming, are they local, like in Guadalupe or just around the area?
It's kind of both. So the ones that I can think of off the top of my head, CHC, Guadalupe Business Association, Los Amigos de Guadalupe, Padrecito. I did ask Enrique from the Bulldogs if they wanted to be there, but I never really got a response back, so I can follow up with him tomorrow.
Is Little House gonna be there?
Yes, Little House will be there. I did reach out to the Dune Center as well, but they did not respond. Are there any that?
I forwarded information to Cons too.
Okay.
Because it's basically Mixteco and the Spanish speaking that is the emphasis of the program. And you're gonna have Sir Job for Progress. I forget her name, but she's gonna be emceeing the event, so it's in Spanish and English, so.
Nico.
we're trying to get, I know.
Yeah, so I reached out to them, but they never responded back. So they had said that they, talked to a couple different people in their organization to see if any of them would be able to come and attend, but I never heard anything back. So I can follow up tomorrow, but I've reached out a couple times to them, so I don't know, they might just have a lot going on right now, I'm not sure.
And the group is bringing 50 backpacks for school. We have school supplies in those backpacks, so they'll be giving them out free.
Yeah.
So, and so we'll CEC will be doing a lot of giveaways too. One of the things that, regarding masking, there's a move to require masking. And I don't know if we want to, I know that because of what they're actually bringing in terms of the theatrical group is that COVID hit them hard as it everywhere, so we may want to emphasize use of masks, not only maybe, but doing so. We need to think about that. We can give them out, I don't know, we have a supply chief of masks or?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I know the test kits, I don't know if you still have cases or they're all.
I sent them all over there.
Okay,
Do we have flyers, a flyer put together?
Yeah, so those have been already dispersed downtown,
Mhm.
and then also through Los Amigos, social media. I'm not sure if I don't know if I should go on record saying this. I don't know if I was allowed to, but I put it on my personal social media just to kind of spread the word out. Other people did that too, so.
thank you for that. I'm glad you didn't leave.
Thank you, Hannah.
Better call Saul.
Okay, I don't have anything to add other than meetings coming up this. Next Thursday is Calvans, SPK, and air pollution control. That's coming up next week, so. Is there any other comments? If nothing, is there a motion to adjourn the closed session?
I'll motion to adjourn a closed session.
Needs a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you all.
Is there any
Thank you,
showing
Dave.
of him coming in?
Turn it on.